Friday. We are here. It is time for another stream. Hell yeah. Hope everybody had a good week. And if you didn't have a good week, well, hey, it's over. Fuck that week. You don't need it anymore. Kiss it goodbye. Or just don't kiss it goodbye. If you hated it, whatever. It's gone. And we're going to start a good weekend, and it's going to be great. That's what I'm manifesting. I'm putting it out into the universe that that's what we're doing. Oh my gosh. Why do I do this thing where my nose starts to itch? It's like a nervous thing. Hello. I had something to say. I'm wearing a fun shirt. That's something I wanted to say. I'm wearing this super fun shirt that I got. It's very bright and colorful and loud, and I like it. And it makes me happy. And I even did some makeup today. Today was a weird day at work. And by at work, I mean working from home, at work, home, homework, home. You know what I mean. The home office. I didn't do, like, anything. I feel kind of bad. I feel like I got paid to do nothing. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but... So I'm gonna play some Ace Attorney tonight. I've been wanting to play some more Ace Attorney. Also, this game is gonna take me a minute to get through anyway, because it's a long one, which is good. I like it. I love Ace Attorney. So I'm glad that there's lots of stuff to dig into, but I just couldn't resist. So we're playing it again today. I'm gonna go ahead and pop those, warnings in there in the chitty chat. Hello, little Capamon. So those are your trigger and content warnings if you want to take a gander at the Does the Dog Die page. I'm also going to go ahead and throw them up. Yeah. Doop doop deep dop. Nope, that's not it. Which one is it? Midna is in my face. She's always in my face. There it is. Found it. Boom. These are the trigger and content warnings for Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Blood and gore because murder, gun violence because murder, animal death because some animals are gonna die and that makes me sad. Death and suicide because it's an Ace Attorney game and we're solving mysteries and homicides that involve people's death. And the last one caused a lot of emotional damage to me, but it's fine. Alcohol and substance abuse. I think there's wine involved. Also, I think that you can just put a trigger warning for alcohol on this stream because I am drinking because it's a Friday night and I feel like it. Yeah. Domestic violence, I think probably implied. I don't know. I don't think we've gotten there yet. Or self-harm. Snakes. We just did something with a snake. That was the last case. There might be more. I don't know. But snakes... anxiety attacks, hospitals, bone-breaking, hanging, suffocation, burial alive, lots of violence that happens to people, I guess, and anti-Semitism, very implied, coming later. I think we haven't met the character yet. Fat jokes, because they're always in Ace Attorney games, unfortunately. They just kind of fall back on that. And flashing lights, shaky cam, and claustrophobic scene, I think those are probably just due to it being... how Ace Attorney operates. I cannot get comfortable in my chair. Oh my god. Anyway, those are your trigger and content warnings for this game. And now, come on, mouse. Did my mouse already die? No. Okay. Whew. Without further ado, we're gonna hop on over to the game, and it's gonna be great. Hell yeah. No, that's not. There it is. Oh. Yes, here we are, the Great Ace Attorney. I'm ready to do some fun voices, and I think we're like starting fresh at the newest case, because we finished the last one last time. Episode 3. The Adventure of the Runaway Room.
Glancing over my records of the late last century,
oh, it's
I am
fully
faced by
voice
the events
acted.
of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night.
Well, I'll be.
Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself.
Le gasp.
However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner.
Oh my god, a horrendous manner.
My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident,
I believe that perhaps that case was indeed
The prelude.
Prelude.
The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together.
There was a noise behind me. When you have a cat, you never want to just hear a noise behind you. Oh, look at that. Oh, are you okay?
Amazing.
Okay, she's okay.
Is this really just a railway station?
Wait, why does he have a British
Railway
accent?
Station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
They're Japanese. Why do they have British accents?
This country is incredible.
Oh, look at her. Oh, wow. Aw, how nice.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
It's still throwing me that he has a British accent.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
Midna,
In that case,
what did you do?
the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure.
Did you knock something down?
I suppose you're
I heard a
visiting
noise
students
behind
from
me.
abroad, eh?
Yes.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world, Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
The center of the world. That's a little presumptuous. Ooh. Okay. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. I'm still gonna do the voices that I already gave him because I don't think the British accent suits them. Granted, I don't think my very American accent necessarily suits them either, but I don't know. I feel more comfortable. Anyway, what an incredible place.
It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating.
This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress.
There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course, but they've only been built in a few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from.
It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again?
This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain.
The Lord Chief Justice.
We had instructions to report here at this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan.
But Kazuma can't.
No. So instead we are here in a different capacity, as envoys, to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death.
Yes.
And having delivered his or her message to an envoy's duty is done.
So we'd have to return to Japan.
If we want to remain here in Great Britain,
I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour.
yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer.
Which is what I've been studying for.
Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London.
I hope I'm up to scratch. I'm sure he is. Good morning. Sorry for keeping you. I'm assuming that it's like some old guy. Oh, perfect! Perfect! Nailed it. Boom. Nailed it. Oh. I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Let me just check. I'm making sure my captions are on. Okay, cool. They are. Just a mega shot. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. How fortunate.
So, introductions. I am Mal Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire.
And I feel like a little mouse underneath an elephant's foot.
Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse.
Oh, it's an honor to— oh, sorry, that's wrong voice. It's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Most certainly.
I will converse.
So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London?
Oh, well, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city.
It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh,
We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say, I'm almost lost for words.
I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded.
Oh yes, astounded is the word.
Thanks for saving me there, Susanna-san.
And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor.
Yes, there's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London.
Great exhibition?
Cultural and technological
Not advantages. Achievements. I can't read. It's fine.
achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Ha! A toy shop.
Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent. How.
Words are hard.
Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be.
Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world.
Even if you do say so yourself.
The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
Lord Chief Justice, I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you?
Absolutely. A Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves.
That's right.
The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand a young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores.
That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived.
My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours.
Oh, thank you.
And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news?
Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell me you Japanese are a people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that's true. And it is with some regret I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means this study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madame?
It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo.
This is it then, the moment of truth. This guy looks evil. Like, I feel like he's probably going to be an asshole to me. If not, like, the BBEG. Like, he's given me, like, all the vibes.
Midna, you're kind of in the way.
know you just want to be close to Mama, though. Sweet kitty.
The thing is, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead?
Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done.
Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean.
Is there something I don't know?
Only a single... Oh, sorry.
Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. And that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand.
Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man.
Mr. Naruhodo.
I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there's someone else here from Japan, it's me! Midna, it's me! I can do it!
Is that so?
I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but...
No qualifications, you say, and yet you still claim to be a lawyer.
I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the accused, but glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buryat.
The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please.
31 seconds.
Sorry?
Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, just 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer.
Oh, thanks.
So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. Huh? But let me ask you one thing first, sir.
Yes?
You say that you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path?
Well, yes, that's my intention.
I see.
Am I imagining things? Or did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? He's giving me the vibes, y'all. He's giving me evil McGee vibes.
Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specifically, especially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you.
Really? So, what form will the test take exactly?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be?
Well, defending people, of course.
Well said. So, let's have you defend someone.
Huh?
Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defenses yet, so this will be welcome news.
Today?
Straight away?
If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler?
Ugh, how do I get myself into these situations? I feel like I need like a record scratch, like, I bet you're wondering why I get myself in these situations.
Well, could I ask, What sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart?
Yes, good question. I remember. It's a murder trial. Because it always is. It's a murder trial. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, come on.
A murder?
An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. That's easy to say. But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Oh, that's not good. Oh! Capital punishment? He'll be put to death? Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably, you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law.
We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life.
I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? He's giving me, like, Umbridge vibes a little bit, but maybe that's just the voice I'm giving him. There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So the defendant may live or die, depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? I'll do it! Of course I'm gonna agree! Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it! I can't get the words out! 15 seconds! Your decision-making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I expected. I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation's over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance.
Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm sorry, Miss Usato, but what could I do?
It's alright. I understand.
You do?
It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Oh. I like her. She's a fucking spitfire in like a very subtle way. I like her. She bites. She bites back. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Usato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable. And I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. This trial will begin without a defense. And And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. He will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful! But that is the truth.
Why does it have to be like this?
Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you.
I'm really his only hope? A random student from a faraway land? I mean...
So, what do you say now, madam?
Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart?
You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve.
Oh.
Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves.
He's gone. I don't know how to think of it. The Old Bailey. Oh gosh, I think I got something in my... Oh, excuse me. I think I got an eyelash or something, like, kind of... Anyway.
If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once.
Alright, then let's move. To the Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber.
Oh, thank goodness, we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins.
I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were gonna rattle loose.
Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly.
I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were gonna die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege.
Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started.
She doesn't know what. She probably wasn't aware that she was literally like, I'm going to pay you extra to make sure that I like make it in time. Yes, I suppose there's that.
Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here, but there's no sign of him at all.
So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand.
Are you all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed.
Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at the moment.
Hello, Chess! Welcome! Thank you for the lurk, I appreciate it. You're always welcome. I cannot do an Irish accent, so I'm just gonna do my best. Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir. It's not good, y'all. What are you doing following me here? Things are fair desperate, aren't they? Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Anyway, we're just gonna, I'm not even gonna call it an Irish accent. I'm just gonna call it an accent, and we're just gonna pretend that it's some fantasy country that exists, because it's certainly not from Ireland. Would you look at those expressionless faces? From the East, are you? We're from Japan, yes. Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because I don't like this guy. No need to explain, fella. I've been here myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no.
'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Stand up now.
1,000 guineas?
Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout.
But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo.
What? Jess, don't judge me. It's really bad, I know.
'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to...
It's so bad.
Fuck. I have enough wealth to buy a city of London or 2 or 3 times over.
Could that much rain even fall in one day? I don't like him. He got a very punchable face. I just want to like clock him. That hat is like, oh, thank you. I will hydrate. I've got some sparkling water here. Everybody else hydrate with me.
'Tis very important.
Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. It hit me in the eye.
Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving to you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me.
Oh?
To be honest, it's a little embarrassing. The trial's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dark. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now.
Oh, well, the thing is...
Don't worry about it, Dick. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see...
We not thirsty in this house. Oh, come on. Come on, you gotta be a little thirsty. Gotta be a little thirsty.
The trial's gonna start without me having any kind of representation at all.
This is so bad. Oh my god, this is... I dread having to rewatch this VOD. Anyway. Hi, YouTube, by the way. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up.
I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial?
Oh, god damn it. This is the man I have to defend? Usually I kind of like our defendants, but this...
Bluster and blazes, do you not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names?
Maybe a little thirsty. You're sleepy in that house. You're mostly sleepy. Less thirsty, but definitely sleepy. But plenty of water. No, sorry, we've only just arrived in the city, you see.
I see. Suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park.
Hyde Park? Wait, that's a real place. Hello, Cool Beans, my attorney. He's been aced! Truly, he has been aced. Sorry, a park? What?
'Tis called a gilded park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot.
I donated to the city. Let's try that line. Let's run that back and try it again. Let's run it back and try it again.
I donated it to the city, so I did.
I'm very sleepy at my house.
An entire park in central London?
A city of smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the God, this voice. There's nothing like...
Y'all just give me a minute, just to get my shit together. Real gamers stay sleepy. True words. True words.
There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its queer old people.
Queer? 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 I don't know. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary.
But now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What's the matter with the London police, I ask you?
Oh god, he angry. Alright, don't pass out.
Mr. Naruhodo, Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath.
Good idea. Why is he got all riled up? I hate his hat. I just want to knock his hat off. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I was really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This Chancellor of a... Chancellor? A Chancellor? Ooh. This Chancellor of a Phyllis claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because I did it! That's the only explanation! Well, not at all. I mean, I was, but Naruhodo probably wouldn't. Not at all, although it is a little strange to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry, did he just say the Reaper? The Reaper? Who's the Reaper? Oh my god. Is it Jack the Ripper? Did his lawyer get, like, brutally murdered? Well, actually, wait, Jack the Ripper only really... Well, did Jack... Wait, I actually don't know enough about Jack the Ripper to know if... Most of his victims were female, right? Like, they were... Anyway. The Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Oh, it's this guy! It's the guy with the wine and the very German, and I'm gonna have to choose German accent. Another accent that I'm not good at. Oh, no. I knew this was coming. Because for some reason, all of the prosecutors are, like, German of some kind. Except for Godot. Godot was not German. Godot was very much not German. But, actually, no, I guess technically Winston Payne isn't either. But I hardly count him because, I mean, he doesn't really count anyway. I mean, let's be real. Damn. Okay. The prosecutor.
The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper?
When Van Zeek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it's reached the desperate situation? Where there's no one willing to stand a defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend in the Old Bailey.
Goodness, Lord Barrack von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then.
Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned and his... Oh, sorry. I wonder if I could do this accent, but also... The defendant is... No, hold on. The defendant is summoned and his counsel. The defendant is... When you care so much about the law and justice, you get everybody... That's... Yeah. That's how they roll. Clearly seeing where the prosecutorial line of, the Von Karmas came into play. You get a conviction, and you get a conviction, and you get a conviction. Everybody gets convicted! I'm just gonna do the voice. I don't know if I can do it in a, I can't do it in a British accent while doing that voice. It's impossible. The defendant is summoned and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That would be me. Oh, it's time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Until you showed your face here. I'd made up my mind, so I had. Sorry. I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? Not well. It never goes well. It never goes well to defend yourself. It just doesn't. It just does not. But then you made an appearance as student of law, wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident, I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate.
So don't get cold feet now, please.
Oh boy. I still hate the guy. I still don't like that he's like my first real client. But beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. Cool, so you're basically in the same place that Phoenix is in the future. You're setting up your ancestors, or sorry, your descendants. You're the ancestor. You're setting up your descendants real well. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Yep.
Mr. Naruhodo.
The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen.
Counsel for the defense, what are you doing?
Naruhodo canonically fucks. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. For a lot of reasons. But also because the family line has to get somewhere.
If you're late for the start of the trial, you'll lose your right to stand.
That is not good. Oh gosh, my back.
My back.
Ugh, I'm an old woman. So I gotta work on my posture. I'll be right there. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. If you're late, they make you sit the whole time. Yep. Very degrading. Are you speaking from experience, Cool Beans? Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, they're on fire! The scales of justice are aflame. Oh, there's people on like, oh, this is like the thing that I saw in the trailer with the people in the... See, now we're on the correct side, too. Because the defense is supposed to stand on that side. Because they're supposed to be to the left of the judge. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme... Oh my gosh. Supreme Court in Japan.
It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn... Whatever the country determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, yes, what? Oh, he's nervous again.
Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again.
I know, but I just can't help it. Oh my god! He's a fucking vampire! I like the judge! I love his little hair!
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to disturb...
I may or may not be speaking from experience. It's not important. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now, I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution. Oh god. I gotta do my... What was my calibration phrase for... I had to do it when I was playing investigations. Fuck. Why is the voice like fine? Why is the voice like fine? The prosecution is fully prepared. Nope, that's fucking god. I'll get it. Just give me some time to warm it up. The prosecution is fully prepared. This is so bad. Why am I so bad at accents? That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He's kind of hot. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim into the underworld.
Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English?
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Oh my god, that steely glare! I might be sipping just a little bit. Oh no. His like coiffed little bangs and shouldn't like him, but I do. Oh no! Oh god! What the fuck does that mean? Wait a minute, what is he saying though? Those eyes please me, Nipponese. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They're unvioled, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. Is a quintessential look of a sacrificial man. I might just cop out and give him a fully British accent. I don't even know. Well, Von Zieks sounds... Von Zieks is just like... Come on. Come on. You know, it's gotta be... I'll try not to. But if I lose the accent, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tip of my toes.
Now, Mr. McGilded.
Yes, my lord?
You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner?
I thought I heard Midna meow, but that was not her. As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fella is student from some little island off the far east. It's not the British way to ignore the dangers of the self and give those less fortunate a fair chance. I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud.
Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please let me go play in Mr. McGilded Park.
It is in fact not the British way. You said it, not me.
It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded.
It's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him.
Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, in most laudable sentiments.
Sentences that I can't say.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do so many fucking voices. Oh no. Okay,
That you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed?
I'm slipping into the whatever weird concocted accent I made for Mr. McGilded. Oh god.
Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me.
She didn't even say anything. I was like, oh god, I'm running out of voices so fast.
They feel a chill.
Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these bits for my grandson.
Oh god, I am gonna run out of voices so fast. So fast.
Mr. Naruhodo, these people are...
The jury, yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet.
That's right. I've only ever read about it. But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict?
That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes.
Prosecutor Van Zieks.
My lord.
It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame.
I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity.
So what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance for which the court would be aware?
He's so regal. Oh my god. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. So the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback?
Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice Fired Mason. Sorry? Thrice?
He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible.
Oh shit, he was like fucking straight up stabbed. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service of the streets of London at the time. A dagger had been thrust into the victim's abdomen. It's believed to be the ultimate cause of death. They got my boy Mason. I'm sorry. They got him. They got him. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer in Scotland Yard.
Thank you, Counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
Okay, so we have the autopsy report and a photograph. Cool. And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well.
And these are...
Good lord! Is that blood, Counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by a policeman who arrives at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves was taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilda's gloves had blood on them?
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
Oh boy. Not looking good so far. How did I get into this? I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously. One of those passengers. I feel like I should say it. I kind of want to say it. Maybe I should give him more of like an Alan Rickman Snape kind of voice, because what's that line? It's so funny. It's like Umbridge talking to Snape, and she's just like, "You applied first for the Defense Against the Dark Arts position, is that correct?" Yes.
But you were unsuccessful?
Obviously. Obviously. One of those passengers, the deceased brick. Exactly.
And you were unsuccessful?
Oh, such viper venom in that one line. Obviously one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other... Oh, look at that point. Look at it, so fabulous. That point was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Okay.
Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Why are you smiling, my guy?
Well, of course I have no recollection of such a thing.
Mr. McGilded!
To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in the carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness and I will succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? 'Tis the motion of the carriage, my lord. Lilton saw it is.
I love this is such a sidebar. I love the word lilt. It's like, it's just so good. Like, it's just so, this is one of those words that just like really hits the meaning right on the head when you need it. Like, when you say lilting, you just know. You just know. It's such a good word. I don't know why I'm a fan. I'm a fan, okay?
'Twas a desperate sight before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before me in my life. rescue us. What good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fella bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. So the blood got onto the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, the statement of the driver was only the beginning. That was a little more French than German, but I'm working on it. What? That's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. She is furiously typing. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage, and there were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's so fast. Look, it's just so. That hand is lilting. It's the nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff! Bring the witnesses at once. So fabulous. Aw. He's shivering. Oh, look at him, his little hat! He doesn't... Aw. They're all so cute. Witnesses, your names and occupations. Oh, God. There's so many voices! Oh, God. My name is... Everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. My first name's Lady Faust. I make hats for gents. Poorly, I might add. Jesus Christ. Let's see, I have him, Susato Ryunosuke, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jurors, the judge, and now 3 more witnesses. I'm out of fingers. 13 people are in this fucking courtroom right now that I have to do voices for. They're gonna sound the same. They're all gonna blend together. I'm just warning y'all now. It's not going to be good. I am not a professional voice actor. Two days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir, that's right, sir. It's actually kind of hard to switch so quickly from a posh to a Cockney accent, so we're gonna see how that goes. Very well then, let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Oh God, let's see if it's actually been a minute since I've had a full... Oh boy. Okay. It was the last burst of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus and then I saw it too. I think I handled that pretty okay. Maybe. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. This man witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel. Well, the testimony
makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of a moving carriage. It's a little falling hat. How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. It's a little. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning. Yeah, that was a fair question, and he did jump straight to racism. Not a good look, my man. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. That is too French. That was way too French for... Oh my god, it's gonna be... What do you mean? The actual scene? How? A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Damn! Yes. Rude! The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff! Bring forth the stricken omnibus. That is a big-ass carriage. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses and can carry up to 8 passengers. Four passengers seated inside the enclosed cabin and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best view of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of the omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats in the omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight. Ugh, that makes perfect sense. Well, Counsel, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Okay. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. Okay. This whole carriage, the whole carriage. I can't believe it. The entire crime scene enters evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Let us continue with proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, Counsel. Pray don't expect a Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of British court cross-examination rights. That's, again, kinda xenophobic, my man. Not a good look. Alright, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Ryunosuke. Focus. Okay, what the witnesses saw. Obviously, I'm gonna be pressing on everything. Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Oh, I can. Oh, that's right, I can.
Oh, yes, sir, that's right, sir. Yes, ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact.
me. I am like always cold, so I fucking feel him. And you had 4 passengers on board at the time, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same part of the bus, of course. No.
And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example.
You're quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that, no. None.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime then?
I have to say, the boss inside insists on it running. He does every evening, the last of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what with it being so cold and everything, I'm only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much on the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again.
Oh, get this man the hot cocoa, damn!
Hold it!
And you saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say.
That's right. When you sit up on the top deck, the window's right there at your feet. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view.
The 2 of them were rowing. Let me try that sentence one more time. The 2. God. 2 of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind that it was Mr. McGilded.
How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? McGild is a gentleman of rather small stature. I couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the victim... the victim. The vehicle came to a halt. The only people inside the enclosed cabin was the deceased Mr. Mason and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. How intense.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened. Wait, is there anything in the court record that I can look at? Because I'm gonna... Ooh. Wait, oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. These are the scales of justice. They're a symbol of the defense, aren't they?
Yes, that's right. The scales are a symbol of fairness to show that all are treated equally in the eyes of the law. And they're a warning to those who enter the courtroom without an impartial mind.
But if they're the mark of the defense, it would be more auspicious if they were weighing more heavily on the not guilty side, I think.
Very impartial, I'm sure.
Oh no! It says his name! The lawyer's name is embroidered on the inside here. Look. Kazuma Asogi. Oh my gosh. This was his band, of course. All is everyone equal is... They should be.
He had his heart set on this study tour in Great Britain.
I'm sure he would have found the truth he longed for here. But he lost his life before he even had the chance to see the place.
I have such a strong sense of hopes and dreams when I look at his armband, though.
I'm so pissed he died. That's like... Anyway. Okay. The victim, thrice-fired Mason. He was 54. He was a brickmaker. Duh. February 15th. Oh, he died the day after Valentine's Day. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. Shit's rough. He's got one of those fun hats that... It's a nice looking knife. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London.
Well, nothing will come of grumbling now.
No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed?
Yes, I believe so. He was toying with the coin in his right hand a little earlier.
Ha! Pity. If only he had been left-handed. Like me!
I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. I'm just gonna... Wow, they really gonna let me just examine this whole fucking thing, huh? What the fuck is that? You're fucking kidding me, right? You're fucking kidding me. Y'all are seeing this shit, right? Phoenix Wright Omnibus. You have got to be fucking kidding me. What a weird... I miss Phoenix. Anyway. Oh my god. Job Masters London 5th Avenue. Oh shit, no, I wasn't done. I can't find anything out of place. Oh really? I find that hard to believe.
So this is the roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here.
So people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? That sounds fucking miserable. And they have to pay money to do so?
I can't imagine how cold it must feel.
That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in freezing cold as punishment?
Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late.
Hello, Spicy Nun. Why are you saying rigged? How is it rigged?
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
Oh, the scene of a murder. It's horrible. What is rigged? What are you doing? Oh god, I'm actually inside. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's obviously.
Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder?
Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight.
Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. There's a little notice. What does it say? Ah, that's a poster for the Great Exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition. Oh, you made a pyramid with rigged for some reason. Thank you. Congrats on the pyramid.
Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event.
Oh, that's another poster. Alright, well, I guess I'll leave. I still can't get over Phoenix Wright Omnibus. Like, why? Why are you doing this to me? Is there anything underneath that I have to... Okay, we already went through this, so that's not helpful. Alright, I'll let it be. No! Damn it, I didn't mean to hit that button either. Okay. Back to the actual... you actually saw the exact moment it happened. Didn't I already testify to that? Or are fair dinkum, hard-working, city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I've really got his back up. Perhaps you could just... Oh my god. Wait, what? Hold on, I missed that. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail if that's... My lord!
Juror number 3, what is the meaning of this?
My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich, never have. They're always up to something or other that they shouldn't be, every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception.
Well, he can't fool me.
Oh my god.
There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter, anyway. That is precisely what I was about to say.
Eat the rich! Eat the rich!
That is precisely what I was about to say. As a foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. This is not good at all. Oh no. Oh no, this is real bad. What the?
Let me see. Oh yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts.
With fire? Yeah, with fire? What?
Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago.
So if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, does that mean...
Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen.
Ugh, now I'm even more worried than I was before. Oh god.
Very well, the court acknowledges the change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare.
That's right, he stabbed him.
Hold it!
He stabbed him, you say, and you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little jet sit next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about the new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absent-mindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. Wait, there it was sticking right out of his belly. That huge great knife.
Great knife? Pyramid head? Anybody? No.
A grim sight indeed.
Ah, that didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client. Look at her go! I wish I could type that fast. Oh, little granny with her little bonnet. I bet she's like actually evil. We'll see.
That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh, yes, so. What the fuck did I just do there? Is this a knife you saw? Oh my good grief, yes, that's it! The very one, sir! That was a little more posh. I'm losing it. I'm keeping track of too many voices. Is that?
Yes, counsel, this is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is a blade of considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Oh, please no.
M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
But there are M's everywhere. Yes, like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh. He had a very American-sounding objection.
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
The murder weapon has been entered into the court record.
My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
Ah, juror number 2, go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait, what are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
not going well for me. Not going well at all. No!
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. I have painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all of the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion.
Oh, shit! I'm losing! Not again.
That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict. There are only 2 left.
We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark.
I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly.
We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back.
But... alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Well, this is the last one I haven't pressed yet. What exactly did you see?
Wait, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, collapsed on the floor he was.
And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
And then the other passenger had that knife in his hand, like this.
By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McKilden.
And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing the other passenger in the belly.
What? Fuck, I don't even remember what voice I gave him. Oh my god, I'm just gonna...
My lord, I wish to speak.
Yes, juror number 5. Do I take it that you, too?
As the master of the London Guild of Coachmen, the idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse has bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep an open mind a little more.
Key up now, Silver Blaze. The finish is in sight.
I think I'm gonna switch his. I'm just gonna do a full country accent, just to keep it variety, because
Beppo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says.
Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
Ugh, this is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. But there's still one left. That has to count for something, right? Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You've heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. I still got my hearing, you know.
Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaving?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilded Park, it's called. The gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's always doing wonderful things for the city.
That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely.
Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books? Please, Mother, I would like to read.
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of a man Magnus McGill really is?
What kind of a man is he?
The philanthropist, Magnus McGilded, has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from?
Eat the rich!
Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
Oh.
Stone the crows!
I like the little sweater.
McGilded lends money to extortionate rates of interest to his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
I knew I didn't trust the damn guy. Fucking shady as hell.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have had to make the use of the public omnibus service?
You're not saying that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name, save considerable financial liability. It will come as no surprise to his creditor that his creditor was the accused Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts.
Good gracious!
The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house, he had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul has the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded.
Wouldn't it be a philanderist then? Kind of, in a way? I don't believe it.
Hold it! If I might add something briefly.
Mr. Sato.
You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. But where is the evidence to support your claim?
Wait, where did this fucking wine come from? Can you share? Wait, I want some. Oh man, I wish I had more wine.
Pray, forgive the this.
Words are hard. I'm trying my best.
Pray, forgive the
God damn it! Discourtesy! Discourtesy. Discourtesy. Let me see it in my real voice for a second so I can just put the word in my brain. Discourtesy.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law.
Hallowed chalice? I'm gonna start calling my wine glasses my hallowed chalice.
That it is! Lord Van Zeek's hallowed chalice!
I hate that I'm kind of attracted to him. How can this be considered acceptable?
But I find myself in an unexpectedly good humor. I had heard the ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself.
That is a little racist, dude. That's like a little racist.
As judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh.
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the Oh my god.
I kind of don't even want to say this line, because again, dude,
And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time.
Okay.
A marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
I wish I had some wine, because I need some wine to deal with that.
Ah, yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, this is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little cartoon. What a scoundrel.
Oh no.
Still, maybe it's all for the best.
The best. Why am I'm slipping now? Wait a minute. Oh gosh.
I don't stand for nonsense. Not in my house, Sonny.
Oh, that's not good at all. Oh no. That was it. The last juror's decision. I love her. I love her as a character. I love her little book.
According to this encyclopedia of British law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here.
Huh. The final verdict. It's over then.
Oh! There's a footnote, though.
A footnote?
However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Yeah, there's objections! My man, get your ass on the stand! Let's go! Come on! Mr. Sato, tell me one thing.
Yes?
You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law, however the defense. What did it say next?
Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point.
Summation? Examination?
Objection!
A summation examination. From which century has that tome of you have... my gosh. From which century has the tome you have there been resurrected? Judging from the binding, I would say that the book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
If it's still on the books, we can still do it. That's how modern law works. If it's still on the books, we can do it. So you're out of luck, sir, with your beautiful hair and steely blue eyes. And your weird wine in the middle of court thing.
Oh,
What even is it, Mr. Sato? This so-called summation examination.
one moment and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical.
I don't like that at all. Ooh. I'm not even reading that.
All right, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury.
To do what exactly?
Appeal to them to change their leading and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use.
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose.
Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert would even assert his right to try this in this day and age. I'm just switching to British. I can't fucking do the German. It's really fucking hard for me.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Summation examination. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Assert our right, absolutely. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
London is the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very highest standards of judicial procedure.
I suck at German accents. It's just gonna be this bad.
Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should be remained buried.
Objection!
But it's our right. If it's our right, it's our right. My God. I need to focus. But if it is our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid.
The court will proceed with the summation examination.
This is madness.
Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready?
Well, I'm not, there was no mention of this in the letter I received, so...
All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached their decision.
On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you had to put us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before.
I don't really hold with all this justifying lark. That seems to have thrown the jurors off.
It seems none of them have experienced this before.
All right then, the summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe, it might be the opportunity we've been looking for. To turn this trial around. A turnabout, if you will.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilded guilty of this most serious crime.
I need Home Slice to stop throwing his knife around.
There was no one else inside the car at the time, so it has to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence.
He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say, absolutely brazen.
I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
Can't trust the guild. Or you can trust the guild. My bad. Opposite meaning. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years.
The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor at beggar's belief.
I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now.
Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they?
Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language.
Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. According to my book, that's not quite how it works.
Oh? I thought I was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant.
Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says.
But then...
They've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become.
Then what on earth am I supposed to do?
Oh dear, I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo.
Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea on how to make this work then?
Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the juror's own words to make your arguments.
What do you mean?
Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. They may appear to present a united front, but the truth is, they are complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together.
And that's the way to break them down, you mean?
Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can't, then we contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other.
Well, I already know who I can pit against each other because Homegirl said that there were 4 passengers and the total fare was 20 pence, which would mean that they each had to pay 5 pence to ride the omnibus. If they each paid 5, then that renders the statement from the actual guildmaster untrue because he said that they haven't raised it above 4 pence, I think. The math's not mathin', that's what I'm saying. I see, so it's contradictions in what 2 or more jurors say that we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right.
Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Divide and conquer! Let's go! Alright, I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off. Can we start? Oh, sorry. I'm just reading in my own voice now.
Can we start proceedings, counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I'm expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord. Alrighty. Oh, he's got his sword jury examination. Oh, wow. This is intense. Can I press them? I think I can.
Hold it!
Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilder were alone inside the carriage.
Precisely my point.
But, could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet?
Such as?
Well, perhaps that's something we could, all work out together now.
Now listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form opinions as individuals, and I have.
Oh dear, he doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he?
No, I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Four passengers totaling 20 pence. And then what did Home Slice say? Above 4 pence for years. So, pit?
Objection!
There it is, yeah. Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other.
They do. Explain yourself, counsel.
Me? Oh dear, what have I said?
I swear on Silver Blaze's maiden name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
Look at him walking the... Wow, this is like... They really fully animated this. That makes me so happy. Look at him thinking, like a real lawyer. I don't know why, but... I'm sorry, I think I'm just like appreciating how far these games have come. Because like these were Game Boy games. They were pixels, literally 2D pixels, and now we are in full 3D, and it's like motion cap animated. Like, they're really like fleshing out this scene. Like, I feel so much more immersed. I'm geeking out really hard. Let me just have this. I'm just geeking out. I love Ace Attorney so much. All right, according to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question, and according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
I'm just giving her my Whisper Silverblood voice. Like, I'm just... I'm getting that kind of energy from her. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is. Fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. I just realized that Homeboy, he's been drinking out of a flask this whole time.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each if you do the multiplication.
It would be 16 pence.
Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact, or precisely 1 person's fare. There was another rider on the carriage!
1 person's fare?
Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about.
Good gracious! This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
All right then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end,
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman.
I don't remember what voice I gave him. It was not country. I fucked up.
Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo.
All right, it's moving the other way now.
This is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir, I'm going to do the same.
At least she'll listen to reason.
Fiddle rattle Mac, you not you as well.
I keep confusing his voices.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's improper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo, you did it! If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue.
2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
Then that's where you must strike next.
So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show that there's another contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Cool. We're making our way. We're making our way.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
I'm changing my leading to innocent. I should like to hear what the slipshod bookkeeper has to say for himself.
Stabbing him on the floor. I think I have to pit these 2 against each other. Yeah, because he's like this, and she's like this. Is that what I have to do?
Objection!
I have to pit the grandma against the... Oh no! Oh boy. Those 2 statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, counsel, post-haste. Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness. that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see I'm busy here?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Ha! Want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like the prim banker said.
Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it was like this. They stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor.
Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What?
Bless my stitches, what a muddle.
Bless my stitches is so cute. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh, but why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies you say, what dear me. I can't abide people telling lies.
It's perfectly balanced again.
The scales.
I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors, I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit, he's...
Wow.
He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all.
That is... Wow. Yikes. Yikes. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all of this?
Answer me this, dark jinx.
Huh? Me?
What exactly is the problem? What of it if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of the events?
What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, hmm? Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you.
Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you.
Ugh, they're ready to kill each other now. The adjusting of the band is so cute. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the 2 witnesses see 2 different moments of the same crime? No, it's out of the question. The blood was only on the seat. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman...
What is it, you dark jinx? Come out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So, where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say 2 witnesses saw 2 different moments of the same crime. If you say it's out of the question, show me some proof.
There's only blood on the seat. If he fell on the floor, there'd be blood on the floor. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by
Take that!
the omnibus. That was wrong?
Do you know what they say about me, young man? They say I've got no powers of persuasion.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that.
But no one will need persuading about this. You're even worse than me.
Alright, that didn't go very well. Single stab wound. It was much. I was overthinking it. Single stab wound. This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once.
Eh? Only once?
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times.
Alright, I concede defeat.
Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leading to not guilty.
We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a lie when I see one, and if that chap ever dares cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade to shave every last hair off his head.
Why is he licking it? What the fuck are you doing, sir? Please stop. That's not safe. What the fuck? He's really giving it to that knife, too. Please tell me he's a barber.
Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of this.
Why am I... That is not his voice. I'm just doing whatever voice, like, comes up first now in my brain, because I can't keep track of them all. Whatever.
The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth.
Yay! The trial's on! I am gonna take a quick break, though, because I need to eat a little something, but I will be right back. So, we're just gonna pause it here, and we are going to return shortly. right. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry. I'm back. I am back. I hit a button and my computer made a sound. It yelled at me. Alrighty. Back to the case. I have touched up. I've eaten a little bit of something. I refilled my drink, touched up my lipstick. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for court. So, let's get back into it.
So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Damn, second glass of wine in the one case. You already chugged the last one, I guess. Oh! Dude, how is your hand not bleeding? Also, how is your glove not totally covered in red wine? Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hollow chalice. You broke it. You broke the chalice now. It may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray, forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks!
Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated Tom no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during the summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Rude? Well, no matter. There's nothing so hard to prove as the self-evident truth, it would seem. No. And why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. The cape is off! Bring forth the witness. Bring forth the witnesses. What? Okay. I feel like this is a good time to talk about how I'm not allowed to be cool. It's like a rule of the universe that whenever I try to be cool, I try to say something cool, I try to act cool, I try to do something cool, somehow, some way, it gets fucked up. I tried really hard to say this line with a cool German accent and say it the first try and just do it and have it, you know, in the moment. But clearly I have fucked up multiple times in a row because I, by the rule of the universe, am not allowed to be cool. It's like something somewhere says Brianna is not allowed to be cool, and it's cursed me. So here I am. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure.
Oh, yes, sir, I did, sir.
Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman, I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord, sir.
If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Oh, dear.
Now then, witnesses, I hereby call you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. Oh boy.
I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear it. But,
well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw McGilden stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him, he did. I think so, yes.
Interesting.
Council, make sense for this. Council, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned distant friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little... I don't know how to pronounce that word, so I'm gonna look it up real quick. Pronunciation, please. Cousinage. Cousinage. What does that mean? Cousinage. The practice of deception or trickery. We're all learning something together here in this Ace Attorney stream, aren't we? The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage.
Beppo, explain yourself.
I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board, you know that. Am I to understand you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold. And the last run of the day was always happened.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo, a disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently.
No, that figures.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please.
We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. Damn straight. Alrighty.
Hold it!
So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right?
It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. I was so congoed, and I was all I could do to stop myself from passing out.
I'm getting chillblains just listening to you.
That was terrible. I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running.
This poor man.
Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger?
You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a 5th passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have had another suspect.
Hold it!
So we had to pay 5 pence. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4?
Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed is gone. Dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder, I presume?
Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment of his life's taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir.
I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the jet was stabbed. Good gracious, really?
We have another witness who did, however, as the banker has offered to testify to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant.
I heard the banker jet next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him.
That's what I said, didn't it?
It was bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. Oh, okay, he hesitated. Which means he's lying. It has to be.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there?
There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet, zero evidence.
Then what are we wasting all of this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty.
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was.
Hold it!
Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up his mouth.
But the words are hard. The knife was sticking. I just slurred all of those words together, and because I was trying to stutter, and then it didn't stutter. It just. Anyway, moving on.
That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the hand was the fence man, yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all.
I really thought I did, but when I could go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the...
Ooh.
Excuse me.
Yeah, hold on, excuse me. Why are you eating your cane? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? No chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly, unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I am a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a Ballarat day.
I have no idea if that was the correct pronunciation of that, but we're gonna move on.
It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me, I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw.
Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll just tell you how grim it was.
Quite grim. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Hold it!
Blood-soaked? Well, perhaps soaked is laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. That's a lie. And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight. Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And there was a lamp on the inside of the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw. Well, you're full of shit, because I know that the blood didn't get all over the gloves, because the blood is only on one of the gloves.
When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record.
Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we've managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light.
If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful as they did before.
Maybe, but we can't let the fear of that happening stop us from uncovering uncovering important new information.
Yes, you're so right.
I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses.
Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as
Oh my gosh. I wish I knew how to read.
as to the reason.
It's this one. I'm presenting the gloves.
Objection!
The music stops, so that's correct. Blood-soaked hands. Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them are covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes. Right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove. He's chewing his cane! Why is he chewing his cane? In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yeah, but no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here, then?
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, "How it was both hands." Sir, this is... Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth? I...
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why, I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society... Not allowed to be cool. Damn it. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate. He's claiming to have no reason to lie, but is that really the case?
Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely.
Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. I haven't looked at the debtor's ledger yet. This
portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry.
Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside?
Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder.
I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholm's name inside.
Well, let's see what we find.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it?
Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off.
Huh, goodness.
What is it?
Look at this. Do you see the name here?
I knew it. I knew it had to be this, because I was like, I haven't looked at this yet, so it's got a Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually.
Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment.
Oh yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching.
It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information.
He's trying to get this. He's trying to get his creditor hanged so he doesn't have to pay his debt. I got you now, bitch. I have evidence. I got you now. My lord.
Yes, counsel.
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
I've just been talking for a really long time, y'all. That's why I'm like tripping over my words so much, I swear.
Take that!
This is a list of debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused?
No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas, not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist?
Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? That's pretty dishonest, my man.
Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
Yes, my lord.
Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right. Now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilded's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And yet only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying...
Got something to say first?
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I remember seeing it myself, as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes, I'm almost sure that it was both of his hands, not just one.
What? Oh no, that's not good news for me at all. Yikes.
It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Yes.
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Alright, what they really saw.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment of the stabbing. The stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually see anything myself, no, not until I heard the scream.
Anyway, the fact remains, there can't be anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen.
The judge fixing his little hairpiece is adorable.
Well, lo and behold, in truth and fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it.
That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case.
Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Alrighty.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record.
I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw, and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw, but why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crimes, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused fingers. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as you well know.
But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. It was just trying to save all of us some time.
You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty?
Well, that's not entirely, not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend, that's for sure thing.
A little guinea or 10?
I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend.
That's terrible. That's awful.
I think you may have revealed more about your character than you bargained for, sir.
This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work? that guy's got a little uneven suit and an uneven hat. You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. Sir, what fucking voice am I doing? I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGill's gloves has any signs of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGill just sitting beside young fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir, and I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain on the leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused of the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGill's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands.
This is puzzling indeed.
This must be oh my god, this must be significant somehow, I'm sure of it.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything.
Oh, yes, sir, that is to say, no, sir, I didn't. I'm very sorry about what I said before, sir. Yeah, very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it?
No, sir, I saw nothing at all.
Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? My man! Oh, please, you didn't even see that?
It was so cold, you see. That was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen. Sorry to say, sir.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights.
Beppo!
This poor man is being fucking raked over the coals.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight of the roof of the omnibus. That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over. Oh yes, I remember. I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place.
Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh, why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right, and it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience.
I tried knocking, but the jet inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below. Well, I can assure you, I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in the cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say. Not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They would have seen everything, I feel like. I suppose they would have had a bird's eye view from the roof. And birds generally have very keen eyesight, so... Thank you, that's all clear. What you've said does make sense.
Very good. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel.
Mr. Fairplay didn't see Mr. Mason being stabbed at all. That's a hugely significant change in the facts of the case.
And there's something else that occurred to me whilst listening to the witnesses' latest testimony. Two of them are recounting what they saw through the skylight in the omnibus roof.
I know it's a large window and certainly affords a good view of the inside, but, well, I think perhaps we ought to confirm what they're saying with our own eyes as much as possible.
What do you mean?
I mean that we can examine the evidence firsthand. The omnibus is here in the courtroom after all.
That's a good idea, and we consider the witnesses' statements while we're looking around. think I'm just gonna leave this here. Well, no. Hold on. I'm gonna press that last statement again. Sorry, let me skip it. I'm gonna press that last statement again, and I'm gonna choose the other option. I wonder if I was... Maybe they didn't see everything. I guess it was dark.
Hold it!
Just skipping all this dialogue real fast. They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing. Oh, this is, yeah, the music stopped, so my bad. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events of the cabin through the skylight on the floor of the upper deck, is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. Oh, I didn't consider that.
What?
By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands to substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand.
You will identify on this cross-sectional plane of the omnibus.
Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated underneath?
Right here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here. Ah! That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. The plot dummy thickens!
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity.
I don't like that he keeps pointing this shit out. It's really weird. Why are you making it a race thing? It's so weird.
I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjectured counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I honestly don't know who it could have been. Or who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck. I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. Oh, he's got a new glass, I see.
You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger on the other seat.
Hey, this could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was Male Strongheart, this random man. No, I'm just kidding. It couldn't be Beppo. On the top. I mean, like, process of elimination. He's 32? Damn, man.
Take that!
I think it's gotta, I mean, process of elimination speaks that it's McGilded. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Oh god, okay. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zeeks!
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms Dude! Jesus Christ! What are you trying to say? Yeah, fucking what's your deal, bro? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless... Wow. Wow! Jesus Christ, my man. Tone it down at least a little. Like, God, you are so... My God! When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. But if the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, Counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was the third party? Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary.
Oh boy. The plot dummy thickens.
Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes.
The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter?
The style of hatment was different. There was no third passenger in the cabin.
How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to dispose to the fact. Unless that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Well, kinda, yeah. He said he was asleep. He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Brings the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand.
Well, what say you, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGillis is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding the information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. Absolutely ask him to testify. Demand his testimony. For sure. Without a doubt. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. He's raising his hand like he's in class. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilda to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury.
Yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilda has to say.
Get the man out here, I say.
It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things in the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little podcaster say, oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard.
Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
And I think this is a good place to end for tonight. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Next time, I'm gonna go ahead and pop a little save on there. Let's go save spot 2. There we go. And that will be where we end things for tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, tuning in, lurking. If you're a lurker, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all the time. I apologize for all of the terrible voices that I did. There was so many people. This is like, in other Ace Attorney games, you would have the defense, their assistant, the judge, the prosecution, and then like maybe a witness. But like, not only are there's 3 witnesses, there's the defense and their assistant, the prosecution, the judge, and then there's 6 jurors on top of that. Like, there are a lot of voices to do in this one. So forgive me, but also thank you for dealing with me. Yeah. And if you guys haven't followed me already on here, go ahead and do that, because you'll get notified every single time I go live. Also, follow me on all my social medias. They're swiping down at the bottom, so you can find me wherever. I usually hang out on Twitter. That's where I like post everything and anything. But most importantly, that's where I post my schedule. So you'll see what I'm streaming for the week and when I'm streaming it. But usually, I'm gonna try something new out. Actually, I've been kind of thinking about it now that I have a different job and my energy levels are changing and stuff. But I want to try streaming a lot more. I think my plan for the time being is gonna be, I can kind of guarantee, obviously, unless something crazy happens, I can guarantee a Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7. But I want to try to like slip in some Tuesdays and Thursdays in there, or maybe a Saturday and Sunday. There's more days of the week that I'd like to stream for y'all. And I'm certainly trying to stream a little bit longer each time. So yeah, I hope you guys have a really good rest of your night or day or whatever, because time zones are weird. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys next week. So keep your eyes peeled for more stuff. Peace out, everybody. Hydrate, and get some rest. Get some rest, because you deserve it. All right, bye.